Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's been a while. This is just a kind of a welcome back, kind of tell you where I've been, what's been going on, why I have not been on my YouTube channel as of lately. It's kind of a long story. So it's been, let's see, this is our third Christmas now. This is our third Christmas in our new home. As you can see that we have a new background. This is my craft room that we are in currently. And it's going to be my filming room. Let's see. The last I think that you know of, I had lost my Amazon review account, which it is what it is. But now I would like to start doing like haul videos and crafting videos and kind of just show you what I've been up to in my day-to-day life. The other thing is I've been having a lot of health issues. But before that, let's back up. In 2021, yes, 2021, January, we got the phone call that we lost my father-in-law. So we went up to Pennsylvania and was up there for that. And then in May of 2021, I lost my dad. So we lost my father-in-law in January and my dad in May of 2021, just a few months apart. So that was quite rough. Since then, I'm not going to say it's been easier because it never really gets easy when you lose someone, especially people that are really close to you. But we're dealing. The next thing is this year, it was July 22nd to be exact. I woke up and I was feeling nauseated. And I said, well, I'm going to take some medicine and I'm going to just lay back down and try to get some sleep. And then when I wake up, I'll feel much better because that's usually how it works with me. So I took some medicine, went to sleep, woke up, and I was still feeling very, very nauseated. And I knew I was fixing to be sick. So I grabbed a bucket, which happened to be our garbage can, in the bathroom. And I started throwing up. And mind you, it's still kind of, dark in my room because it was still early and it was still kind of dark outside. Not really, but not real dark, but it was still dark. And I noticed that it was like red. I had red on my hands and stuff, and I was like, okay, so I turned on my light and noticed that I had been throwing up blood. So thankfully my mom's been here and she's staying with us for a while since my dad passed away. My husband was at work, so I called my mom and I told her, I said, I think I'm throwing up blood. She came over and sure enough, the whole bucket was blood. So we called my husband at work, panicking, freaked out because it was a lot. And he came home right away and he took me to the local ER here. Well, when I got to the ER, they took me back kind of right away and they were asking me all these questions and doing all these, tests and, checking your vitals and stuff like that. And they decided they wanted to do, I think it was called a radio scan. I'm sorry if that's a blur, but it was kind of like an EKG to me, but not really an EKG. I had all these little stickers hooked to me, and I started telling him, I remember telling him, I said, I'm feeling very hot, like I'm on fire on the inside. I said, I'm starting to feel very weak. And I remember actually kind of like being really wobbly. And at that point, I kind of just like lost it. They had given me one of those little, there's no other word, vomit bags. And I had picked it up because I thought I was going to be sick, and I had it in my hand, and I kind of picked it up like this, and I got sick. But I got so sick, and it was so forceful that it blew the bag out of my hand. And all I remember is, getting sick in this little room, which it was just like a little closet room, and it had like a curtain over it. And I remember there was people like in this little waiting area outside to get this same test done. And I remember the next thing I remember after I could see, like, it was blood. Everywhere was blood. I mean, it was over everything, all over the floor, all over me. I remember a whole bunch of nurses and doctors like running into the room, and they had a bed, and this nurse is trying to hand me almost like a bedpan type thing. And she's like, here, honey, use this, if you get sick again. And I remember the doctor that was doing the scan on me was saying she's not going to be able to hold it. She couldn't even hold the bag. It was very forceful, very quick and fast, and she's not going to be able to. And I remember looking at everything, and I'm panicking on the inside, but it was like my body was like shut down. It was like I couldn't do anything. I couldn't speak. It was like I couldn't move. And I remember one of the nurses asking me, honey, do you think you can make it from this chair to this bed? And I couldn't answer. And there was no way that I was going to be able to physically stand up, move myself from the chair to this bed. There was no way. I think I was in shock. It was almost like the only way you can really describe that is like an outer body experience. So I don't really remember how I got from the chair to the bed. It seems to me like I was like picked up and slung on the bed. And I remember because I was wearing a dress, and I had to have my shoulder down, the shoulders off the sleeves of the dress. I had to have them down. And I remember trying to cover myself because I was like, from being like moved from the chair to the bed, I remember being exposed, and I remember trying to cover myself, and they rushed me to a room, and they were telling me that they're gonna have to put this tube in me. And all I remember is I'm shaking, like I was shaking so bad, and my teeth were chattering. I was so cold, and I was like, get my husband, I want my husband. So they went and got my husband, who had been in the waiting room because he was not allowed to go back with me to get my vitals or any of this stuff. So I remember him coming in the room, and they're telling me, we're going to have to stick this tube in you so we can try to suction this blood out of you, so you're not swallowing and it's not going into your lungs. You're not choking on this blood. And I remember kind of, okay. And they're like, we're going to give you this cup of water with ice in it. You need to use the straw, sip on this water, and it helps. And I'm like, okay. So I'm already like freaked out, panicked, okay. And she starts sticking this tube up my nose. And I was thinking, wait a minute, what's going on? And she's trying to explain to me, she's like, keep drinking this water, keep sucking it through the straw, you know, it's going to help. This is going to feel, you know, you're going to feel some discomfort, but it's going to be okay. You're going to get better. We're here to help you. And I felt like my brain was about to explode. That's really the only way I can describe that feeling. The tube is an NG tube, which is also known as a feeding tube. So it went up my nose into my sinus cavity and down my throat into my stomach area. I never want that done again. Let's just put it that way. That was horrible. It was horrifying to me. You know, they don't give you anything. They can't give you anything, especially in an emergency situation. So, I couldn't drink through the straw. There was just no way. I was begging them. I was like, you know, grabbing their hands. I'm like, please just stop. Just stop. I don't want it. I don't want any more. She's like, honey, we're halfway there. If we take it out now, it's just we're gonna have to start all over and do it again. And I'm like, okay. I kind of tried to like mentally prepare myself. This is what needs to be done to potentially save my life. So they get that in me, everything, and they're like, okay, we're gonna send you in for a CAT scan. I'm like, okay. So they take the bed, you know, I'm going to the CAT scan room. She asked me, she says, do you think you can move from this gurney bed to the machine? And I said, you know, I felt at that point in time, I was like, yeah, I think I can do it myself. Well, I sat up, instantly got sick. And what was it? More blood. So they're helping me clean up again, and I finally managed to get from the bed to the machine and everything, and got those testings and stuff done and got back out there. They brought the portable x-ray machine in because they had to make sure that when they did the NG tube that it didn't, you know, like puncture my lungs, and everything was kind of normal in my stomach area, you know, just to make sure it didn't do any damage. Well, that being said, everything was good. So blessings there. Thank goodness for that. Then they came in and told me that I was going to have to be transported to another hospital. Okay. So they asked if I was in agreement, and I'm like, yeah, just, you know, figure out what's going on with me because this is scary. And I knew I had lost a lot of blood at this point in time. They told a woman's blood hemoglobin count, which is all your blood in your body, should be at a 12 or higher. I was holding steady at a 10 at that point in time when they had checked. So I was under the normal limit, but I was still at an okay level at that point. So they're like, we're gonna transfer you. We think you're stable enough to go by ambulance. Is there any hospital you choose to go to? And I told them that I wanted to go to my hospital where all my doctors were because I've had a few liver issues. They told me I had a fatty liver. But that hospital was full. They weren't accepting patients at that time. So I was transported to another hospital. They did all these tests and everything, and I had to have what they call an endoscopy, which is having an upper endoscopy, which is having a camera inserted in my mouth and goes down into, your stomach, your chest, and all this. Well, I had that procedure done like the following day. It was the next day, and by this time I'm super hungry. I had been sick. I had lost a lot of blood. I'm diabetic. It was an ordeal, to say the least. So I had the endoscopy done. Everything was good. He came in. He told me, he said, you have what we call esophageal varices. I had never heard of this before. I was like, what is that? Esophageal varices are when the veins in your esophagus, your blood flow from your liver kind of stops, it can't go anywhere, basically, is what I'm understanding. So it tries to go through other places in your body to kind of, get the blood flowing or something like that. And mine went through my esophagus, and it made them swell up, and it had enough pressure to where they just basically exploded. So what he said is they banded 4 of my esophageal varices. And he said, think of it as, he said, the bands that kids wear when they have braces? And I said, yeah. He said, think of it like that. And I said, are they gonna like stay on forever, or how does that work? And he said they'll eventually go away within 10 days. He said you won't even notice it, you won't feel it. Okay. And I'm like, okay. And I'm thinking, what, after that, then what? So they did that. They banded those. They took me back up to my room. And they gave me food. I was like, yes. What'd they give me? Tomato soup. Tomato soup is acidy. Now, this is my esophagus we're talking about. So what happens? I take a bite of tomato soup. I'm just hungry. I'm not really paying attention, thinking, I take a bite. I get sick. There's no blood, thankfully. It's actual just, regular vomit. So we get that, everything. I'm cleaned up from that. And I said, just like, can I get some like crackers maybe, because crackers coat your stomach and they help you. So I got some crackers, and I was able to eat after that. I ended up spending 4 days in the hospital at that point in time. And I was told I had to go to a hepatologist, which I had already had an appointment, and I hadn't been seen by her yet before this happened. But it wasn't long after that I was seen, and she wanted me to have more blood work done, because before I had left the hospital, my hemoglobin, which I told you I was holding at a 10, I was then at a 7.3. Now, from what I was told, they don't give you a blood infusion unless you're 7 or under. So I was not given a blood infusion. I was given iron, and I was given iron pills because my iron is severely low. So, long story short on that, my blood had came back up to like an 11 at that point in time. So that was good. I did not have to go to the hospital, have a transfusion. I didn't have to stay in the hospital again. I was excited about that. But she wanted me to go in for another endoscopy and make sure things were good. So we scheduled another one. Went in, same problem. They were expanding again. I was on the verge of doing what I did before again. So they banded the same 4 esophageal varices. So that I was like, okay, this should be, I should be pretty good now. Come December the 1st of this year, this month, it's my birthday. I woke up. I was feeling a little nauseated, but here again, didn't think this was going to happen. Took a little bit of medicine and went back to sleep. woke up and I said, I'm going to be sick. Went to the bathroom, and what happened? Started vomiting blood. So I called my mom, and the first thing she says when she answers the phone is, hey honey, happy, and I'm like 911, 911, you know, and I'm getting sick as I'm trying to say 911 because that's all I felt like I could say. So she runs over and she's freaking out, you know, she's looking at all this blood and I'm still getting sick, and she calls 911. They come out, the ambulance comes out, and they're like, yeah, you're going to the hospital. Get out there. They give me an IV in my wrist. They gave me Zofran, which thank God, because I did not get sick anymore. Went back to the same hospital the first time, wanted to go, and they said they were going to transport me again. Which hospital did I want to go to? Well, I told them I wanted to go where my doctors were. Guess what? Hospital was not accepting patients. So I went back to the hospital that I was at before. So I ended up going back there. I got put on the 5th floor this time, and I had a room to myself, which was awesome because the last time I had a room with someone else who was super, super talkative. She was really nice and stuff, but she was really talkative, and all I wanted to do was just kind of like rest and wrap my head around what was happening, what was going on. So anyways, I had another, they ended up doing another endoscopy on me, and of course they banded 3 this time of my varices. The doctor that did it the first 2 times that I've been sick, he came in and talked to me, and he said that this is not good. You know, you've had 3 endoscopies, you've been banded 3 times in the past 6 months. And I got thinking about it. Every 2 months, almost to the day, this has been happening here. So I was like, okay, what do I do? What's the next step? And he told me about a procedure called sclerosing. He said, I think that's what you need. Basically, it's like a needle being injected into your vein, and it's like it sends out like this glue stuff. Well, when I got out of the hospital, I was in there for 3 days this time. When I got out, and I let my hepatology doctor know, and she finally got back in touch with me, and she wants to do a procedure called TIPS, which is, I do not know the phrasing, but basically it's putting almost like a stent, but it's a shunt in my liver, which they'll then expand a little bit, and it will help that blood flow through that vein into my liver. She said, think of it as like a roadblock, and you get a detour, which you can detour around, and it helps the flow of traffic. So I am scheduled for January the 3rd to go in to see radiology to get my appointment set up for that, and then I will be down again for another 7 to 10 days, I think it is, but they're not sure whether they're going to keep me in the hospital for a little bit or if they're going to release me. So this has all been going on, and it's just been like a whirlwind. I've never heard of this before. Nobody else in my family has heard of this before. So I'm telling you guys to just be aware of your body. Like, this gives you no warning signs. I was diagnosed with a fatty liver here just a few months before this, and they're still working on, there's been talk of fibrosis on the liver and cirrhosis of the liver, but they can't determine. They've done I don't know if you can see right here, I have a scar. They have done a transjugular biopsy on my liver, and there's discrepancies between that and the scan that they did, so they can't fully determine if it is cirrhosis or not, but it is on my paperwork. So it has been a long journey, and it's all new to me. So if you've been diagnosed with fatty liver and you have, I have acid reflux, which is not good, which I don't know if you can see, but it has wore off the enamel on my teeth. And I also have recently, this tooth has chipped. So just be aware. And I'm sorry, I think I just spit on you, but whatever, right? It's just a long road, but I wanted to make this video to let you guys know where I've been. I wanted to start doing a health journey update. I'm back into my crafting now. I'm just doing lots of things. I kept this for myself because I messed up on the bottom. So I kind of wanted to share that with you all, kind of videos on my crafting. I'm also wanting to do hauls again and try-ons and beauty and just a variety of stuff. I've since ordered off of a site called Temu, and I'm super excited. I've seen lots of videos out there about that. I can't wait for my stuff to come in. It should be soon, and that will be the next video that you see. So super excited to be back, and I hope I can keep this up. This gives me something to kind of, you know, look forward to and do, because I can't do a whole lot. I'm not allowed to put like pressure on this area, so I'm kind of stuck doing just little things around the house. So I hope you guys found this video useful and kind of are aware of what's been going on with me and what I've been up to, and I hope that you're glad I'm back. But if you would like to see this type of stuff, my health journey and, you know, the crafting, the beauty, the hauls, reviews, whatever, I have, and I just feel like posting. It's a little bit of everything. So I hope you subscribe, and I hope I get to talk to you. And if you've had anything similar to this, let's communicate, because this is all new to me and I want to know, you know, more information. I'm constantly looking up and trying to figure things out. But anyways, I'm rambling, and this video is already almost 28 minutes long. So hopefully I can, you know, cut it down a little bit maybe. So I hope you guys are having a wonderful holiday season, because tomorrow's Christmas Eve. And hopefully I can get this video out today or tomorrow, which would be on Christmas Eve. So yeah, so you guys have a wonderful holiday, and I'll see you next time. Bye.